Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Superstars Wrestling Review Series. Hoping to get maybe about 70 of these done in total. Don't know how many are available for us to check out. I know there's about another 30 or 40 in 1993 available on the network right now, and who knows how many in other places. But this is the December 5th, 1992 edition, and in the 92, beginning of 93, super different in a lot of ways, newer talent and other things. But we move into this episode, High Energy against Barry Horowitz and W.T. Jones. High Energy, of course, had probably their most high-profile match a couple of weeks ago against Money Incorporated. And so we've got, they're kind of moving forward. Barry Horowitz, of course, has been an enhancement talent here since 87, 88. Actually, one of my favorite Owen Hart matches is an enhancement match with Barry Horowitz when Owen was doing the Blue Blazer thing in 88. Just in terms of an enhancement match, really cool. But hip tosses and basic stuff by Owen. Owen, a big deal here. Drop toe hold early by Owen. And again, the high energy thing I think was supposed to be a replacement for the Rockers. Didn't exactly turn out that way. To his credit, though, Koko does a lot of really cool mat wrestling early in this. Clothesline by the high energy team, and then they go pretty quickly into their finish. The elevated drop kick into a roll up by Owen Hart. 1, 2, 3 gets the victory. We move to Mark Morgan, easy for me to say, against Yokozuna. Yokozuna, of course, debuting in November, so not too terribly long ago, just a few weeks ago, carrying a salt bucket alongside Mr. Fuji. Yokozuna, of course, ends up becoming the World Wrestling Federation champion and wins the Royal Rumble in 1993. So just interesting to see how quickly and effectively they push him here. Actually, a almost release-style chokeslam by Yoko pretty quickly and efficiently here. A big Uranagai, and ultimately Yoko gets back up, hits the leg drop and the bonsai drop. 1, 2, 3 win for Yoko. Go into the event center. We have Crush and Razor Ramon here. Razor starts promoing his desire to go at it with Bret Hart. We see that going forward. Crush talking about some stuff with Doink the Clown. Just the beginning of that here, although I don't know that Doink has a name fully here. Talks about the Clown, talks about wanting to be a good role model, talks about the Hawaiian aspect of things. Basic Crush promo. I actually don't like these because it's much easier to cover the event center promos when they're market specific. The matches they're promoing in that. Brian Costello and Max Moon. Moon, of course, was originally supposed to be Conan. Doesn't go very well. Dragon Screw leg whip by Moon, and then the inverted hamstring pull by Moon. He hit some body slams. Again, Doink out at ringside, causing mischief with the fans. By the end of January, or beginning of February, Doink is already embroiled in a feud with Crush. We're not there yet, though. Drop kick by Moon, and kick to the midsection by Moon. Moon then takes him up with a front face buster, suplex style maneuver, spinning leg kick, and Moon really hits a kick in the corner, but does a lot of innovative moves for this time period. And it's not easy to be a high-flying guy in 1992. Vince is a little resistant. Crossbody gets him the victory. We go to update Bret Hart and Ric Flair. The continuation of that feud would have been further. We also see a promo for the WrestleMania video game which they are plugging is now available on the Sega Genesis system. Genesis, a pretty big deal. They hype Bret Hart as Continental Champion. They hype Bret Hart as a world champion eventually. I mean, they make a pretty big deal out of Bret Hart. Flair and Gene Okerlund sit down and have drinks together. Flair basically countering that he's the best wrestler in the area. Says he has no problem becoming a 3-time champion. They actually do a sit-down interview with Ric Flair. Flair's in a suit in a nice dining establishment. Just an interesting approach to the nature of things. Then we see Kamala and Buck Zumhofe up next. Obviously, Harvey Whippleman being the bully here. He introduces Kamala. He's less impressed with introducing Kamala than he was before. Of course, this comes off the coffin match, so we wonder about Kamala's ability to continue being controllable. Several chops by Kamala. Kamala going off on Buck Zumhofe. Of course, I've mentioned before, I don't like Zumhofe for private and personal reasons that are easily available if you want to search out his history of child abuse and such. But I have to cover it because he is part of wrestling history, as unfortunate as that is. And then we, see Kamala kind of doing the sit-down jump splash. Again, Harvey Whippleman basically ridiculing Kamala for losing to The Undertaker in an inset promo. Splash. And rolls him over. 1, 2, 3. Kamala gets the victory. The Harvey Whippleman and Kamala duo, not here terribly much longer, but we're going to get there. Reverend Slick says he's returning. While he was away, he's, talking about finding himself and preaching being his thing. Never really says a lot of religious rhetoric words, which I think is good. Brother Love never did either, so that's interesting there. Jim Duggan against Dale Wolf. Duggan's been gone for a little while, but they seem to have brought him back here early in '93. He makes sporadic appearances in the, I guess you'd say, summer into fall of '92, but he's less active in '92. I don't know if he had some injuries going on or personal challenges or what that is, but he's less active. Doink the Clown shown again. We don't know that his name is Doink quite yet, but Irish Whip and a big body slam by Duggan. Duggan, of course, known for that swinging slam, clothesline, and tackle. 1, 2, 3. Jim Duggan with a victory. We go next to Nails discussing fighting The Undertaker. The idea here, pretty simple. Nails not intimidated by The Undertaker, almost doesn't take a backward step. They are promoing pretty hard for this. Nails is gone before the end of the year, I'm pretty sure. So within the next couple of weeks, his altercation with Vince McMahon, which is pretty tightly talked about in internet circles and publications like The Torch, The Observer, and the like. It's all covered if you're interested in that. Louis Spicolli and Tatanka. Spicolli, of course, becomes a more major star. I mean, to think that he's in the ECW ranks within 3 years, in WCW within 5, and also passed away within 5. It's just really amazing to me. Spicolli hits a nice leapfrog, a couple of chops. Tatanka not terribly taking a backward step on the chops or that. Of course, Tatanka hitting chops of his own, coming back pretty hard. Spicolli actually gets a relatively competitive match. Tatanka's chops a little bit more aggressive and assertive. Manages to hit them, obviously, because of the Native American heritage deal. Tomahawk chop to the top of the head, among other things. And Tatanka goes to the top rope with a chop as well. To think that Tatanka here is about 3-4 months away from being in a feud with Shawn Michaels is also interesting. Just amazing that they do move through feuds still quickly, but not as I guess nastily as is there. We go to the event center. Bob Backlund cuts a short promo, how he's glad to be back in the World Wrestling Federation, how he really wants to be at his best, talking about maybe the potential of winning the championship again. Then we move to Damian Demento. He just cuts a promo about being out there and voices in his head, among other things. The Nasty Boys talk about finally turning on Jimmy Hart and wanting Money Incorporated, wanting the tag team championship. And we go to Shawn Michaels against John Paul. Michaels, of course, your new Intercontinental Champion on the heels of Saturday night's main event. Not quite sure why you put the Intercontinental Champion in a enhancement match. I would always put him in something a little bit above an enhancement, but that's just me. Michaels, of course, by himself with Sherry being injured. Full body scissors by Michaels, which is kind of interesting. Kind of doing a little bit more mat wrestling than average. John Paul manages to get him up in a compromised position for a little bit, but Michaels manages to do a jump over the top and hits a top rope clothesline to get the advantage back, and then we kind of see the back suplex, which Michaels is still using for the victory. Special look at Mr. Perfect, the perfect athlete here. Hits a hole-in-one, or actually a perfect putt. Hits a basketball shot, hits a shot with darts and the like. I'm actually interested to know, a strike for bowling. Interested to know if these are the same vignettes from '88. I don't think so, because Perfect's hair, Henning's hair looks a little bit different here, so I assume they redid the vignettes, but I'd be interested in if anybody does know if they're the same from 1988 when he came in or not. Anyway, we'll be back with more right after this.